Hi there everyone, it's Candy Evie here, and today I'm going to be doing a countdown of my top 10 favorite Easter eggs in Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. In the Pokemon games, Easter eggs usually come in the form of hidden features or little bits of information in the game. These often reference other games in the series, so when I'm playing through these games, it's always fun being able to understand the reference that I might not have understood had I not played the other Pokemon games. Now, with that aside, we shall start with our first Easter egg. Number 10 is Steven's Rocks. When playing through my Omega Ruby, I had a little look around Steven's house. It mentions that he has rocks collected from Kanto's Rock Tunnel, Johto's Mount Mortar, Sinnoh's Mount Coronet, and Univer's Chargestone Cave. This may not be the most exciting Easter egg ever, but the fact that they managed to put little references like that to other games did make me smile. Number 9 is the Floatstone Easter egg. In Rustboro City, there's an ace trainer that will give you a Floatstone. The Floatstone halves the Pokemon's weight. Upon returning to the room with the ace trainer, we find that he has been replaced by a hiker, who says, "For some reason, I've put on a lot of weight recently. It's not too important, but it's pretty funny considering the item that he just gave us, implying that he gained weight after giving away his Floatstone." Number 8 is the Cerebi Poker Earth map. In Dewford Town, you'll be able to see a map on the wall. On closer inspection, once zoomed in and flipped, you'll be able to see that it looks an awful lot like Cerebi.net's Poker Earth map. Cerebi's Poker Earth is essentially a map that shows the placement of all of the Pokemon regions on a map of the Pokemon world. I think it's absolutely amazing that a fan creation was able to find its way into a main series game. Number 7. One does not simply walk into a Mirage spot. I laughed quite a lot when I first saw what the man in Pacific Log Town had to say. This is actually an adaptation of the popular "One does not simply walk into Mordor" meme. Not relevant to the game's plot, but still pretty funny in my opinion. Number 6 is the collection of Battle Frontier Easter eggs. I really did love the Battle Frontier from Pokemon Emerald, so it was a shame to see that it didn't return in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, but I did like that they referenced it quite a few times. On the top part of the Battle Resort Island, there is a model of the Battle Tower, and a sign that states, "The Battle Frontier project has started." There is also a man inside the Battle Maison who claims to be a talent scout for Scott, and he has already scouted the Pike Queen Lucy. Based on these two pieces of evidence, it's safe to assume that the Battle Resort is in fact a predecessor for the Battle Frontier. Whether this means we'll see the Battle Frontier return in the future or not, I'm not sure, but it was still nice to see one of my favourite parts of Pokemon Emerald at least acknowledged in the remakes. Number 5 is the Ghost Girls. We sure were treated in regard to Ghost Girls this time. The infamous Ghost Girl from Kalos makes an appearance in Hoenn too, but all she has to say is, "No, you're not the one." I believe that we'll uncover the mystery of this Ghost Girl in a later game, but for now we'll just have to sit tight and wait. However, I'm not finished with Ghost Girls here. There's also another Ghost Girl that appears during Phoebe of the Elite Four's dialogue. We know absolutely nothing about this Ghost Girl, whether she has any significance, or if she was simply a prop designed to reflect Phoebe's Ghost-type speciality in her room. Number 4. AZ's Floette. In Tetopolis City, there is a tree with a flower underneath it as the same design as the flower carried by AZ's Floette. We later learn from Wallace that the tree itself was planted by a huge man who visited from the Kalos region. This is clearly AZ, so at least there is some sense to see why the flower is underneath the tree. I'm unsure whether this has any significance, or if it's just a simple Easter egg placed in the game for fans. In any case, it's pretty cool to look at. Number 3 is the GBA style opening. Now here's one that everyone will know. During the very start of your journey in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, you begin by seeing the introduction in the same style as it was in the originals. I think that this is beautifully nostalgic, and for someone such as myself who played the originals a lot when I was younger, it's the perfect way to start your journey in Hoenn all over again. Number 2. Archie and Jirachi. When playing through my Alpha Sapphire, I noticed that Shelly's room had quite an interesting Easter egg. When inspected, there was a photograph with the message, "There's a picture of a boy with a shaved head, a girl with black hair, and a Pokemon with 3 notes attached to his head, a date, and then with Arch-E and Rachi." Well, from the description of the photo, it's easy to guess that the Pokemon with 3 notes attached to its head is Jirachi. This also fills in the correct number of blanks in the message too. It's also very likely that the boy in the photo is a younger version of Archie, the Team Aqua leader. This also matches up with the blanks in the message. As for the girl, this could possibly be a younger Aqua admin Shelly. In fact, it's very possible, seeing as the photograph itself is in Shelly's room. Archie and Shelly have been shown to be close in Alpha Sapphire, so it's possible that they were childhood friends too, hence why Shelly would have a picture of them both as kids in her room. But what does this all mean? We all know that Jirachi is capable of granting wishes, so does this mean that Archie and Shelly had their wishes granted? And if so, what were they? Sadly, there just isn't a lot of information at this point, but it'd be interesting to see if anything else becomes of this little Easter egg. And so, my favorite Easter egg of Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire is the certificate that you receive from transferring a Pokemon from Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald. By transferring a Pokemon all the way from Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald up to Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, you receive a certificate to put in your secret base for showing unwavering friendship and unbreakable bonds with your Pokemon. The certificate itself is chock full of gorgeous sprites and background that represent Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald perfectly. I find this to be really touching, and it serves as a perfect homage to the original Hoenn games. And so that was my list of top 10 Easter eggs in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. I really enjoyed making this video, and I hope to make more like this soon. But until then, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye!